Everybody, it is Ruthie Rocks, and it is another day in paradise in beautiful Las Vegas. So today we have some new stats. Hmm, Computer's going crazy. We have some new stats for you today. Uh, our days of inventory are 126, and it's going down a little bit because the single family homes are selling and we're down to 6,717 available. We were up in the 7,000, so we are going down. 2,464 of those are single family homes that are 435,000 or under, and that's about 37% of the market. And the market is 8,616 homes total. Anyway, you all have listed 96 homes and closed 43. So we're listing more than we're selling. So we'll see if that number of availables starts going up. This month is strange. We're only selling 48 homes a day, and last December we were selling 124 homes a day. Now, last December, the median price was 386,000 and lower interest rates. So I'm sure that accounts for a lot of it. But I think that the market is a little bit cool right now because of, not sure where the interest rates are going, and it's the holidays, and normally the investors continue to buy. And if you look at the daily sales, that hasn't changed. They are still buying about 30 homes a day, and like I said, that number does fluctuate. Once they close escrow, sometimes those homes become second homes versus rental homes and things like that. So, and there's really no clear-cut way that I have found to get the exact number. So that is approximate. Um, so of the homes that you did list yesterday, 41 of them were $435,000 and under, which is good. That we're adding to the inventory of affordable homes. And I know you've heard me say this last week that the interest rates did dip a little bit. So we'll see how it takes a while for that to kind of percolate through the mindset of the buyers. What else is going on here? Well, the $1 million home's still going at 4+ a day. That market hasn't really slowed down much at all, maybe from 4.8 to 4.3. So it's still in the 4 to 5 per day range. $1 million home buyers coming here from other parts of the country. I tell you all the time, according to the stats, there's 6,100 DMV reported surrendered licenses. So that's a lot of people moving here. And that's not the net number. Those are the people that are moving here. And as Jimmy says, that could be the net number because people come, people go, and surrenders could mean that it is net. In any event, what applied analysis tell us is 8.4 people are moving here every hour. So lot of good future ahead of us for real estate. And I told you that Dr. Jung has said that we have a real solid real estate market going into 2023. Hopefully you all have set your goals and are continuing to do daily what it takes to maintain connections and contact with your sphere of influence, your friends, your family, and your farm. Hopefully everybody has a farm. Yeah, not much. It's kind of a normal day, except for the daily sales. They're down. Yesterday we had 43 closings. The average for the month is 48 per day. That's not a lot, everybody. When you look at last December, we were doing 124 sales a day. Yeah, so let's see. I think that's about it. Nothing remarkable today. Nothing remarkable. So we won't try to uh, hype anything that can't be hyped. Want to tell you all that it's a time of year to set your goals. And if you haven't already, it's not too late. And I was investigating some of the coaches around the country. And of course, Tom Ferry is one of my favorites, along with Brian Buffini. And when it comes to real estate, those are my top two. Ricky Caruth he's coming along. He was a Remax agent when I met him several years ago. I think he's changed now. But anyway, regardless, he is really out there trying to influence the market positively. So Ricky Caruth, he's kind of a youngster to the game of coaching and training, but he's really good. And if you want to tune into him on YouTube, you might look him up. I think his name is C-A-R-U-T-H. He's good. Yesterday, I watched a video that Berkshire Hathaway gave, and they interviewed a really rising star. And I just want to call out to Jennifer Belcastro. She's been in the business 2 years and 5 months, going on 2.5 years, and she's already in the top percentile of Berkshire Hathaway, which has 1,100 agents. And she came from the customer service casino industry, and she helped people. They call them the whales, right, with their accommodations and things like that. And people just love her because of her energy and her sincerity, and she's really all about the people. And she gave a great interview, and she said there's 3 things that you need to do. Number one, you need to be accountable to somebody. She's learned that. And number two, you need to know what these contracts say. You need to know what the listing agreement says and what it means. And you need to know what the RPA says and what every line means. And the duties owed. I mean, she brought that up. She said, she just went to another class. Now she's been in 2.5 years. She just went to another duties owed class Friday. And she said, my gosh, every time she goes to another class, she learns something. And of course, I'm very much into training. Grant Cardone says, when you stop training, you might as well just put retired on your sheet on your desk, or anywhere. Just put on your business card, retired, because if you're not training and learning, you're going to have issues, because things are always changing in real estate. So anyway, onto this, because Jennifer made me think about goals and how she thought number 3 was setting goals, and then having a good routine every day. So when you look at where you were 5 years ago, where were you physically 5 years ago? Just take some time and think about that. Write it down. And where were you income and wealth wise 5 years ago? What was your income level? What was your assets? What was your net worth? Where were you 5 years ago? And what was your mindset? I mean, if you're in real estate, what was your mindset back then? Let's see, that was pre-COVID, and the market was pretty hot. The market was very hot. The prices were good. We still had people moving here. We were selling billions of dollars of real estate every year. And then what was your attitude? Did you have a positive attitude? Sometimes people don't think that fear is an attitude, but I kind of think that fear is part of an attitude. If you're fearful, that affects how you think, and I think it affects your attitude. And then socially and fun-wise, what were you doing 5 years ago? Did you have a group of people you were hanging out with? And are you too busy now to do that, or vice versa? And then spiritually, where are you spiritually? Where were you 5 years ago? Were you relying on prayer and whatever your God is? Were you speaking to him? He's listening, And then and 5 years ago, what was your contribution? What did you end up contributing in 5 years ago? What was your contribution? And that's really something that's very subjective. I can't objectify that. That's something you'd have to say what your contribution was 5 years ago. Was it to your family? Were you volunteering? Were you making a lot of sales and helping people get into their homes, things like that? So this is a time for some reflection before we move forward and figuring out, well, where were we 5 years ago? After that, what you want to do is say, where are you today, physically? Did you have goals over the past 5 years to lose weight or to gain weight or um, to work out, to accomplish some goal? Maybe you want to run a marathon or something like that. Anyway, where are you physically? And then income and wealth. Where are you today? What is your net worth? And what is your income? And we're talking, we not necessarily gross income, because once you pay yourself and your family, what do you have left for your business? You need to look at your income in different ways, because part of that goes to taxes, part of that goes to your family expenses, and then the rest is for your business. And so, were you making as much money as you needed to support your family and pay your taxes? Are you? We had quite a change in our market this year. So, things when you were making 2, 3 deals a month, and now you're just doing one, perhaps because that's what the stats are showing. That not as many people are making sales. So if you're not making sales, I know you're not making money in real estate anyway. So where are you today? And then with mindset, what is your mindset? You have to get your mind right. And what Grant Cardone says is you have to get your financial right. Your financial mind has to be right. What your mental mindset for your financial state. What is your financial state? He says it much better than I do, but he is relating to what you're doing when you're working, when you're thinking, when you're writing down things. Are you always thinking of getting your financial mind right? Instead of spending, and I'll tell you one thing, Gary Vaynerchuk has been saying for years, people spend too much money on frivolous things. Instead of investing back in their business, they buy a new car, they buy things they don't need, they buy a fancy watch. That might not be you, but he's just cautioning people about spending money they don't need. And if you're young, you can live at home a little while longer, save more money. um, it's very important. It's very important. And then spiritual, again, spiritual is again something that it's like contribution. The last two there on the page, those are things that you probably need to figure out for yourself. I don't know that I can give you many suggestions, except that I know that faith and hope have carried me a long way in my life, and uh, I do pray, and I do believe in God, and I talk to him a lot. We've become very friendly over the past 3/4 of a century. um, yeah, and then your family. Where are you with your family today? Are they happy that you're? Are they happy with you? Are you happy with them? Are there things that perhaps you can sit down around the table and say, let's do some things differently in 2023? I don't like to look backwards, because what's the point? I like to look forwards. And I don't like to criticize people for what they did yesterday. I like to tell them perhaps what they could do better today. So I think that how you approach your family is extremely important. They need to see you as a leader. If you're the person out there making the money, or even half the money, whatever that is, people, your family, uh, your parents may live with you, you may have children, what just could be you and your husband or wife, but what can you do better in 2023 as a family? And then your career. Where are you today in your career? Where do you think you are? Are you stagnant? Are there things that you have to do for 2023? Where are you in your career? Are you at a pivot? We all have pivot points in our life. Maybe this is a pivot point. Maybe you've learned some things from someone that has say, okay, I am going to change things I'm doing in my career, and I'm going to do it now. So where are you today? Are you at that pivot point, ready to make a change? And then, of course, social fun. That's again subjective to you. And then, what are your top 10 goals for 2023? Seriously, what are your top 10 goals? And you can segment these into spiritual, family, business, uh, you know, just want to go back for a second. Brian Buffini says spiritual comes first, because if you have faith, everything else sometimes will fall into place. And you can always depend on your faith. You can't always depend on, maybe your family or your business, other things like that. So you have to really put things in perspective. So, do you have any spiritual goals for 2023? What about your physical fitness? Your physical, do you want to lose weight? Do you want to gain weight? You want to change the way you look? You want to dye your hair red? I thought of that a few times. Anyway, so then your career and your family. What are your family goals? You want to go on a vacation, and all these things should feed off of each other. What your top 10 goals are. They can't just be like going on separate uh, avenues. They have to all lead to the same place. And that's, to me, my goals in all my different areas. What are my number 10 is taking the 9 things that I came up with, and number 10 is my goal in life. If you know me, I just want to be happy. I want to be happy. And and as you go through the years, different things make people create happiness within you. I think happiness comes from within. I mean, I don't think that you can have a cocktail and be happy, for instance, or whatever. I think that it has to come from something that you're doing, something that you're fulfilling in your life, something that you're achieving. Things like that contribute to happiness at least in my world. I have goals, I have things, I have purpose, I have things I want to do in my life. And so from 1 to 9, okay, those are different things. Number 10, I want all those 9 to, whoops, my puppy's barking. I want all those 9 things to contribute to number 10, which is my goal in life is to be happy. It'll give, and let me just tell you something. If you do this and you do those 9 goals that you have for 2023 and you leave number 10 as happiness, it will, and I would put that down first because it might just change your 1 through 9 goals. Just saying. And then make your goals SMART. Now, what is SMART? Specific. Goals need to be specific. You can't just say, I'm going to the East Coast, right? Exactly where are you going on the East Coast? You're going to New York City, you're going to Atlanta, Georgia, you're going to Washington, D.C. So anyway, you have to be specific. And then measurable. Your goals have to be measurable. You have to know how long it's going to take or how much time you're going to take to achieve your goals. And are they attainable? A lot of times people make goals that aren't attainable, and then there's disappointment. And relevant. Are your goals relevant to the market when it comes to your business? Are your goals relevant to your family? You may need a new house, but perhaps that's not going to happen financially this year or next year. So anyway, relevance is very important. And then timing. It all gets down to timing. And timing is one of those things that we try to control, but we can't always control what goes on around us. And I think timing plays into that extremely, very, very, timing is just very, very important in life. And sometimes when you're afraid to do something and then you do it, and you do it now, when you think about it, you do it now, even though you're scared and whatever, but you do it. That's timing. You do it now. And then if you don't do it, in 3 months, you say, oh, I should have done it. So think about timing in terms like that. And then if my life was as good as it possibly could be in 2027, what would you be physically? Where would your income and wealth be? What would your mindset be? Your spiritual, your family, your career, your social, what contribution do you want to achieve in life in the next 5 years? So where in 2027, if your life was as good as it could be, what would you put on these lines? That's a very important one. But you have to do these have to be done in sequence. Now, what's your ideal morning routine? I can tell you that 49 out of 50 top CEOs that were interviewed say, you know what they do? Here, I'll show you what they do. They write things down on a piece of paper. They write things down. And I write down, says 12:07:22 Wednesday. I have the things I have to do today, and then I have the things that seem to be revolving. Like I'm not going to accomplish all of these today, but I've got to fit them in if I can. So that's kind of, and I do it every day. I mean, I really, really do it every day. So making lists is an important thing. And for me, I like writing things down. Then I can cross them off, and I'm a more visual person writing things down. Even though I'm very technical and what have you, I like to write. I like notes. One of my mentors, Katie Lance, she at the end of the year she'll give you what her favorite things are, and one of her favorite things is a book that she uses as an appointment book, and it has so much writing space. It's fantastic, and I use it all the time. Anyway, so you need to write down what your ideal morning routine is, and then your ideal evening routine. I like to come home and do certain things on a routine basis. And one of my goals for 2023 is to try to get to bed a little earlier, because I wake up regardless of what time I go to bed. So sometimes I'm tired because I didn't go to bed early enough. And this Tom Ferry says, show me your routines and I can predict your level of success. Now that sounds like, well, that's a no-brainer, but just think about it. Because a routine means things that you do consistently. So if you don't do them consistently, your level of success could be on shaky ground. So I think that's a very wise thing that he put on his show, or I think he said that in one of his seminars. And here's something that I learned from Tom Ferry as well. What new habits will you form in 2023? So you see the percentages, 85%, 40%, and 3%. Because what the gurus of statistics tell us, if you have three new habits that you want to achieve in 2023, you have an 85% chance of accomplishing at least one. You have a 40% chance of accomplishing two. And if you've got three new habits, you only have a 3% chance of making those things happen. So what does that tell me? Well, that tells me that I need one new habit. And once I achieve that, then I'll get another new habit. And that's the whole point. Don't try to do too many things at once. We're all human. We get discouraged, whatever. It's like, oh, I didn't do that. So then you stop doing it. And as soon as you stop doing it, you broke the chain of the habit forming. So you have to continue with your habits. And I think one is plenty, just one new habit. If it's getting up to work out every day, if it's sitting down and making your phone calls in the morning, if it's making them at night, whatever it is, what new habit are you going to do in 2023? So that's critical. And here's the best part that I like. The 10-year letter. If you sit down and you write a letter as if it were 2033, what would that letter say? Would it say, dear me, I have accomplished this in the past 10 years. I am in a bigger house. I am in a smaller house. I have two houses. I invested wisely. Where do you see what you want to be and do and have in 10 years? Tom Ferry does this at all his summits. He gets people to, and he's even done a 20-year. I think that's a little far out for me. Don't know about you, but I'm happy with the 10-year letter. I know 10 years ago, when we started Agent Formula, I had goals and I wanted to be someplace, and I didn't meet my goals. Now, things got in the way, but that's okay. I'm still going to go after what my goals were 10 years ago. I achieved it, but not as much as I wanted to. So, anyway, what does your 10-year letter say when you look back on your life and say, this is what I did in the past 10 years? And, uh, and then keep it. And you keep all these things. And when you write things down, and if you have a nice 8.5 by 11 appointment guide or time, whatever, however you do your appointments, if you write them down, maybe just do a booklet of your goals with this information. Anyway, that that I thought was a great exercise for you all to think about. That what's going on in our training center. We have a lunch and learn tomorrow, December the 8th already. So from 12 to 1, come have lunch, or you can Zoom and you'll get a new business target. And what is that? Well, it is, here's the facts. There's 1 in 5 home buyers are 62 or older. I wonder how much they know about reverse mortgages, and they could buy a house and not have a mortgage payment. Um, and did you know that 7 trillion is tied up in seniors' home equity? So that's a lot of zeros. It's a lot of houses. So that's a lot of seniors that have equity tied up that they could be using to go on a cruise, to get a second home, to get an investment property, whatever, wherever that conversation may lead you. If you have the tools and the knowledge, you can have these intelligent conversations with people that are 62 or older. And then 10,000 baby boomers turn 62 every day. This is an ever growing market. And um, it is not what most people think it is. There's been a lot of reverse mortgage propaganda out there over the years. Some of it was true. Some of it was true, and those things went away. Congress came in and made some changes to the rules and the guidelines that the reverse mortgage has to follow. I totally believe in it. I know it's safe. You still own your home. If you get a reverse mortgage and then you decide you want to sell that home, you can do that, and then you just get your next home with another reverse mortgage. So there's lots of things that perhaps you need to know so that you can talk intelligently um, to the people in Las Vegas. I mean, over 30% of Las Vegas is seniors. So that's a huge market, huge target. Um, so that is tomorrow, Thursday, 12 to 1. If you come to the classroom, you get a free lunch or Zoom. I mean, for 1 hour, you can Zoom and get perhaps decide if maybe you want to go after this market. It's a huge market, and you're not going to bump into too many agents doing it. So I would consider it. Then the other thing that we're doing on Friday, Jimmy Dague is going to teach advanced strategies. We're having a contracts class, and you need 2 core contracts classes for your license requirements. And this is advanced strategies. And it's, Jimmy, he always does it relevant to the market that we have. So just know that to know more, he says to make more. My husband says, learn more to earn more. So whatever it is, the more you learn, the more you earn. And this is a great class. It's 9:30 to 12:30. That includes lunch if you come to the classroom. But lately, since Thanksgiving, we've had a lot of Zoomers. Our Zoomers have just been filling up the Zoom class. So, and then we'll just have a handful in the classroom. So anyway, whatever your preference, take the class. They all count for core credits. And Jimmy is always full of himself. He's always a happy guy on Friday. I wonder why that is. he's, he's full of it. Um, so this is not a bad time to get some extra credits in for yourself. And if you're a new agent and the credits don't count because you're doing post licensing, but you need to, like Jennifer Belcastro said on her interview yesterday. She said you've got to know what these contracts say. And so for 3 hours you can sit there amongst people that are veterans in the industry and who ask really good questions. And Jimmy, who has 40 years in the industry, and I'm there as his sidekick with some years in the industry. So you can learn a lot. And even if you don't, even if it doesn't count for your post licensing, it doesn't hurt you to learn more and more and more. The more you learn, the more you will earn in the next couple years if you're just starting out in your career. And knowing that contract is extremely important because there's a lot of things that come up on every deal. New things come up, and if you know that contract, then you know how. At least you know the right questions to ask if something comes up that needs to be handled. Um, Anyway, that is it for today. Oh, one more thing I did want to say. You know me, I always have one of those. Well, let me hide this. So when we do our classes, our CE classes, we have a Wheel of Fortune spin for books. And Jimmy and I both read a lot of books, listen to a lot of books. And so we pick the books that we think that, but that might help you in your life. Like we have one that about being happy. Gary Vaynerchuk wrote one about 12 and a half. And these are, leveraging emotional ingredients necessary for business success, building a story brand. And then we have How to Be a Millionaire by Grant Cardone. And we bring in different books, Acres of Diamonds, lots of different books. Anyway, your name goes on the wheel and we spin, and we pick a winner in the classroom, and we pick a winner on Zoom. So just a little extra fun we have in the class, and give you something else to take away besides just the credits. All right, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you Friday. And please take the time. I'm going to post those those 7 or 8, I think there's 7 sheets for your goal setting and your letter writing, your 10-year letter. You all have a great day. I'm over time today. Love you all. Hope to see you in class tomorrow and Friday.